Have you ever heard the word Excelsior? You most likely have. And if you don't know who is always saying that word or who really brought up the word in general in the mass public, it's a man named Stan Lee. And if you don't know who Stan Lee is, if you live under a rock, of course, he is the son of Romanian Jewish immigrants born in the 1920s and eventually became one of the lead creative directors and writers of Marvel Studios. Before that, he served in the military in World War II. He was originally a lineman, but he switched to the comic role in the military. And that really got the ball rolling. When World War II ended, he eventually switched and changed to Timely Publications. And they started comics. But at the time, he didn't start writing superheroes. He started writing other things, like westerns and all these boring stories that he just didn't like, because they usually follow the same plot of one deity type being, a perfect man coming out of nowhere, saving everything, going out, no issues, nothing. And this really got him feeling like the whole culture of the time was bland, and it needed pushing against the norms. And that's where you got his flawed heroes. For instance, like the Fantastic Four or Spider-Man or Iron Man. Spider-Man being his most popular. For instance, Spider-Man was a huge leap in what it really means for a superhero comic, because Stan Lee wrote him as a teenager, and that was never really seen. It was normally like, the older guys. It was normally like big beefy guys. You didn't see these little nerdy teenagers become the superheroes. So when these comics started reaching on shelves, it started flying, because the kids are actually seeing something that's relatable to them. They aren't looking at a Superman who can give them hope that's everything going to be okay just because it's going to be okay. You have heroes that are going through the same stuff as you, but still pulling through, even if it's just, written in a comic. But later, towards the 90s and 2000s, Marvel almost went bankrupt, and they had to sell the rights to a lot of their characters. With this, however, it brought a lot of superheroes into a massive public view, bigger than what it had before in just the comics. Before, it was just, comics were seen as just for children and, not meant for the adults. But when the movies started coming out, it started, bringing more people into it, and more different opinions and ideas. For instance, such as Daredevil, the first Spider-Man, Blade, all the older movies. But what movie really changed the whole game was Iron Man. With Iron Man's success, completely changed the whole movie industry, how comics work in general, and how Stan Lee was seen in the public eye. Or not seen in the public eye, but blew him up even more from what he was, from his cameos in every single Marvel movie that there was. And if you've been alive for the past 16 to 20 years, at least, you know how many superhero movies have come out and how much they have riddled pop culture. If you were alive in the 90s or the 80s, which I wasn't, I was born in the I was born in 05, you would see the difference of what the culture is. For an example, it's similar to how anime is. Well, before COVID or 2020, it was seen as weeby or geeky to watch it, and then eventually, once everyone started watching it more and seeing it, it became more culturally acceptable. But this is just like one of the many examples of how Stan Lee has really changed the culture of America, but no one really grasps how, because he is an amazing storyteller.